the age of 71. According to his son, Fossil died while under sedation after being taken to a hospital in Las Vegas with chest pains. He coached the Giants from 1997 to 2003 and guided the team to 3 playoff berths and a 2001 Super Bowl appearance. Despite those achievements and being named Coach of the Year in 1997, Jim Fossil never got another opportunity to be an NFL head coach.
We turn to the latest developments in a bizarre and tragic incident in Brooklyn. A retired NYPD officer is now dead after being accidentally shot by another man who was helping him respond to another incident in Kensington. Eyewitness News reporter Candace Mahan is live at the scene with the latest this morning. Candace, good morning.
Michelle, good morning to you. There have not been any charges filed in this case at this point, but that could change as the morning and as the day goes on. Now, officers just clearing the scene in the past couple of hours. Now, this happened last night here in Kensington at 3rd and Church Avenue after the 57-year-old retired officer heard someone was threatening an 86-year-old man at a nearby pizzeria. He stopped in along with a 53-year-old retired correction officer who was his friend to end that dispute. But as they tried to subdue the 33-year-old suspect, the retired correction officer, he pulled out his gun. Police saying that he fired just one shot, but that round hit both of the suspects, that 33-year-old suspect, sending him to the hospital, and his friend, that retired police officer who was killed. Witnesses explaining the moments right after that gunshot.
I just see him like on the floor, and I was like very shocked, and I started crying. I'm like, I just hope he survives.
Most of the people here in the community know him from being around, it's just, right now I'm very upset. Tragedy. And this community is a great community. We don't have incidences like this often.
Yeah, and police have not released the name of that retired officer who was just here trying to help when he was killed. Live here this morning in Kensington, I'm Candace McCowan, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Candace, thank you. Today, Justin Wallace would have been celebrating his 11th birthday. Instead, police are searching for his killer following a weekend of gun violence across the city. 16 shootings with 19 victims over this weekend. Harrowing video shows a man opening fire into a home on Beach 45th Street on Saturday night, killing Justin and wounding an adult. Police Commissioner Dermot Shea visited Justin's family on Monday to pay his condolences.
We're going to do everything possible to get justice, but this visit wasn't about justice. It's just knowing that we're there with them.
I started crying, and I felt miserable. I miss him, and I hope he's in a good place.
On Thursday, Justin should have been graduating from elementary school.
Happening today, students in schools across New York will be wearing masks after Governor Cuomo and the CDC clarified guidance. Same goes for students in New Jersey, but teachers for one major school district say they are dealing with more serious problems than masks. Eyewitness News reporter Derek Waller is live in Patterson with more on that. Derek, good morning.
Michelle, good morning. The superintendent of Patterson Schools is actually going to be here at Dale Avenue School later today, greeting children on their first day back in class with just 2 weeks left in the school year. That says some teachers continue to complain about what they say are filthy conditions. Take a look at these pictures, brand new pictures from the Patterson Education Association they put on Twitter on Monday showing rundown classrooms, filth and roaches. The superintendent says the district spent $20 million fixing ventilation and cleaning. Today, some special ed and ESL students are coming back. However, most won't return until September. Meanwhile, the CDC just reiterated that yes, kids should continue wearing masks indoors, but there could be an exception in cases of extreme heat. Here's what Governor Murphy had to say about that.
School officials are empowered to relax masking among students and staff in their buildings given extreme weather conditions, and we hope they will make the right calls for their educational communities.
Now, the CDC says that kids can safely take the mask off outdoors. In New York State, Governor Cuomo says he's leaving that decision up to local school districts. Reporting live in Patterson, I'm Derek Waller, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Derek, thank you. Global health experts say a new problem is emerging in the fight against COVID as vaccine inequities create a so-called two-track pandemic. According to the World Health Organization, high-income nations have administered almost 44% of the world's vaccine doses. Meanwhile, low-income nations have administered just 0.4%. Officials say this increases the chance of creating a variant of the virus that is vaccine resistant.
would hurt all of us. Investigators want to find out why an MTA bus jumped a curb and smashed through the front of a brownstone in Brooklyn, injuring 16 people. The bus driver lost control yesterday afternoon on Bedford Avenue in Prospect Lefferts Garden before crashing into the brownstone on Lincoln Road. Among the injured, 14 bus passengers, none seriously. MTA officials say at this point it doesn't appear speed was a factor. The bus driver does not have a record of major safety problems either.
The operator is 55 years of age, 13 years on the job. The investigation is ongoing, but it doesn't appear to be any kind of mechanical defect that caused this incident.
There were reports that the driver's foot may have become stuck on the accelerator. The buildings department has determined the brownstone was compromised and a vacate order was issued.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy plans on closing the Edna Mahan State Prison for Women in Clinton. Several guards are facing criminal misconduct charges stemming from a violent attack on at least 6 female inmates at the prison. Some 24 guards were allegedly involved in the attack on January 11th. The plan is to shut down the complex and relocate inmates to a new facility.
The U.S. government seized millions of dollars in cryptocurrency paid as ransom to those hackers following the Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. The Justice Department says it recovered most of the ransom. The cyber attack last month caused the nation's largest fuel pipeline to halt operations. Colonial had paid out more than $4 million to bring its pipeline back online.
It is 6:08 right now. You are never more than 7 minutes away from weather and traffic. Jeff Smith here now with the forecast.
Yeah, it might be morning out there, but we're quiet for now. It'll be quiet right through about midday. And then we got to watch this disturbance pressing in from the west, and that will instigate some showers and thunderstorms to develop. Right now, already near the 80-degree mark, even as of 6 o'clock in the morning. Temperatures rising well up into the middle 80s during the afternoon, feeling more like low to mid 90s with the humidity out there. Watch for that thunder threat to increase around midday first over interior parts of New Jersey, and then kind of drifting toward the New York City area by mid to late afternoon. So it's an AccuWeather alert for today for that afternoon thunderstorm probability, and I think they could be on the strong side with some drenching downpours and some strong gusty winds as well. Kind of a familiar forecast for tomorrow. Warm, muggy, maybe some more PM storms. Not as warm on Thursday, and then a big cool down, dramatic drop on Friday. We'll talk about that in your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Right now, Heather O'Rourke has a look at the commute.
Yeah, and we have reports that there was an overturned vehicle on the Bronx Expressway on that ramp to Castle Hill Avenue. Shannon Sona's up above Shannon. It doesn't look like it's overturned. Do you know any details on this situation?
Yeah, we actually do, Heather. It was, in fact, overturned. They just uprighted it a few minutes ago. But the bottom line is, as you travel east along the Bronx Expressway, you try to get off at Castle Hill Avenue. They're still trying to clear this up. It's uprighted. That is the good news. The bad news is that's what you see as soon as you see that exit ramp for Castle Hill Avenue. So all lanes shut down. Getting off at that exit, you just can't do it. Next stop is going to be the Whitestone Bridge, and look at the delays. Anything that happens on the Bronx this time of morning. Already delays back to Jerome Avenue, quickly heading back towards the George Washington Bridge. Heather,
Oh boy, yes, what a mess it can cause. Hopefully there isn't a fuel spill. On 78 express lanes going east right near exit 56, emergency pothole repairs. Hop on those local lanes, which look a lot better. Street cleaning rules are in effect. Michelle, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. 6:10. Breaking news out of Washington. A scathing report released just a little while ago about the Capitol siege on January 6th. Also had a stunning move by the Biden administration's Justice Department involving President Trump and a rape accusation. Plus how a law prohibiting so-called vaccine passports in Texas could sink that state's returning cruise industry.
At Stanley Steamer, we love homes. It's why we started cleaning them over 70 years ago and why we still continue today. Whatever home means to you, we're ready when you are to make sure your space is clean and that you and the ones you care about most are safe.
Get running right with a deliciously bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with a medium latte, cappuccino, or signature latte for $3. Exclusively for DD Perks members. Join on the app today. Try savings on Dunkin'.
For the first time, ranked choice voting will be used in New York City's primary election. So how does it work? Learn everything you need to know when you join me for ranked choice voting, a live web chat at abc7ny.com, Thursday at noon.
Sponsored by AARP in New York City.
I'm Dr. Daniel Stevens, Deputy Commissioner of the New York City Health Department and a pediatrician. I'm here to share the good news that the FDA has now authorized the Pfizer vaccine for children 12 and older. While children and teens aren't typically at high risk for severe illness from COVID-19, they can still spread the virus, which is why it's important for them to get vaccinated to protect themselves and others. I strongly urge you to get your child vaccinated against COVID-19. If you have questions, please talk to your provider or visit nyc.gov/COVID vaccine.
It's time to breathe easier with a professional air duct deep cleaning from Stanley Steamer. We remove the dirt hidden deep inside your ducts, helping you get back to a cleaner and healthier home. Call 1-800-STEAMER today.
7 on your side, catch results. So when you need help, call, email, or reach out on social media. Because Channel 7 is always on your side.
Years after Karen survived traumatic chemotherapy and surgery, her breast cancer returned.
I had one hope left. I'm trying.
She read everything, called everywhere, until finally Pearl Mutter Cancer Center invited her into an immunotherapy trial.
It was a life changer.
2 years later, Karen's tumors are gone, and Pearl Mutter Cancer Center has more active clinical trials than ever.
You get knocked down and you're looking for hope. And, here was hope.
They're closer than ever. I forgot what you look like. It's close.
It's Heiner. You're kidding.
Next line. Former President Bill Clinton with James Patterson.
Watch live.
This morning at 9 on ABC 7.
6:13, some breaking news right now. A Senate investigation into the January 6th siege on Capitol Hill found failures in law enforcement's preparation and response. The report cites a failure to notify law enforcement of the attack. According to the report, the federal intelligence community, including the FBI and Homeland Security, did not issue a threat assessment warning of potential violence targeting the Capitol. Also, it found Capitol Police lacked training to respond to the siege. The report was a bipartisan effort and does not go into the root causes of that attack.
New information, the Justice Department is defending former President Trump in his defamation suit after he denied allegations of rape. It comes after President Biden accused Trump of treating the Justice Department like his own personal law firm. Now, Biden's DOJ has filed a brief siding with the former administration, which argued he could not be sued for defamation because his statements were made as part of his official duties as president.
Police made an arrest in the random attack on a 75-year-old Asian woman that happened last month in Queens. 24-year-old Christian Batista is now charged with second and third degree assault in the attack that was caught on video. Police say he punched the victim in the face, knocking her to the ground as she walked near her home in Corona. The attack left her bruised and broke a bone in her face near her eye.
New this morning, a massive worldwide crime organization operating out of Australia was busted by the feds. More than 200 people in 18 countries have been charged after authorities say they were able to access millions of encrypted messages. Nearly 4 tons of narcotics and more than $44 million have been seized. Australian officials have also acted on 20 murder threats. Additional arrests are expected around the world.
Hey, Daniel from Australia, did you get that video?
Texas could hit a snag after the governor has now signed a law prohibiting vaccine passports. The law prevents any business or government entity from requiring vaccine passports, basically proof of vaccination. Meantime, Carnival Cruise Line says it will require passengers to be fully vaccinated when it resumes trips out of Galveston next month. The first ship will set sail on the 3rd. Now, Carnival is looking into whether or not it legally can require proof of vaccination.
Joints for Jabs is the name of a new vaccination initiative rolled out in Washington State. The state's Liquor and Cannabis Board is allowing marijuana retailers to provide 1 joint to adult consumers who receive a vaccine dose at an in-store vaccination clinic. The program runs through July 12th. Previously, the board allowed breweries, wineries, and restaurants to offer free drinks in exchange for proof of vaccination. Other incentives offered have included free sports tickets and up to $1 million in prize money.
A high school in North Carolina changed course after initially
They're offering weed to get vaccinated. How about that?
Cannabis Board is allowing marijuana retailers to provide 1 joint to adult consumers who receive a vaccine dose at an in-store vaccination clinic. The program runs through July 12th. Previously, the board allowed breweries, wineries, and restaurants to offer free drinks in exchange for proof of vaccination. Other incentives offered have included free sports tickets and up to $1 million in prize money.
A high school in North Carolina changed course after initially denying a graduate his diploma because he wore a Mexican flag over his graduation gown. Whenever Lopez wore a Mexican flag over his graduation gown over the weekend, he was refused his diploma. Another student followed the school dress code and put a Mexican flag on top of her mortarboard. She did receive her diploma at the same ceremony. But draping a flag did not follow dress code, and after they were upset about the denied diploma, officials had Lopez and his parents escorted out of the ceremony by police. Then Monday, Ever was awarded his diploma.
To all those who did that, this is straight, it's bad, you know, they shouldn't have done it. And I hope they either, they don't have to apologize, but, you know, at least I hope they feel bad and don't do it again.
School officials say Ever wasn't denied a diploma because he wore a Mexican flag, but because there was a clear dress code and the flag was not worn at an appropriate time. It's been a big week for the Duchess of Sussex. After giving birth to her second child, she's now released a children's book. The Bench captures the special bond between father and son, told through a mother's perspective. Meghan says the story was inspired by watching her husband, Prince Harry, interact with their son, Archie. The two welcomed a daughter, Lilibet Diana, just 4 days ago, so they're not sleeping. Right.
As I know all too well.
Yes.
In 2017, a sinkhole opened up in Israel, and it was caught on camera. 3 cars ended up being swallowed by the sinkhole that opened up in the parking lot of a hospital in Jerusalem. An onlooker caught the collapse on a cell phone. It is still not clear what led to the collapse. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but incredible video there. A little scary.
Yes.
A little bit, but not scary. What's behind you, although things are going to change a little bit.
Yeah, the sunshine that we have out there right now, the more sun that we get, it kind of destabilizes the atmosphere, and you get more thunderstorms that'll develop during the afternoon. So we're hoping for not as much hot sunshine during the morning hours. Temperature right now 79. Look at the dew point up at 70 degrees. It's super muggy out there. It's in the oppressive category right now as far as dew points are concerned. 77 right now, Newark, 76 at LaGuardia Airport. You're talking about a number like 73 at Belmar, middle-to upper 60s onto Long Island. Here's our future cast. Watch what happens by midday. You already get some thunderstorms bubbling up over interior parts of New Jersey, and these will gradually kind of drift toward the coastline. I say gradually because they're going to be slow movers. That means they can create some flooding downpours, and they can also create some strong gusting winds as well. A lot of instability in the atmosphere today with all that heat and humidity around. These can even continue through the early part of the evening, but I think after the sun goes down, you'll lose your instability, and that means you lose your thunderstorms overnight tonight. So we quiet things off overnight tonight, but then we refire these storms at some point during the day tomorrow. Probably not as widespread as what we're going to be dealing with today. We're going to be dealing with widespread real field temperatures in the 90s again. It'll feel like 92 by 2 p.m. in the city, even middle to upper 90s over interior parts of New Jersey. So dangerously hot and humid in some cases. Very warm and humid out there. Clouds and sun today. Watch for that afternoon heavy thunderstorm. That high getting up to 86, feeling more like low to mid-90s though. Thunderstorm in spots early tonight, and then cloudy, warm and humid. We're down to 74. Still quite warm and humid tomorrow. What's new? Clouds and sun. Watch for a spotty afternoon storm. 87 for a high, feeling even hotter. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. A mainly cloudy day on Thursday. Not nearly as warm, about 80. There can be a shower or two. Doesn't look like a particularly wet day. Friday, much cooler. A lot of clouds out there. Only 68 for a high. Watch for a shower around. And this weekend, even though we show that shower icon, it doesn't mean it's going to be raining the whole time. Going to keep an eye on the sky. There could be a shower storm Saturday afternoon, maybe a shower Sunday under mainly cloudy skies, and then back up to 80 degrees by Monday. Heather O'Rourke is here with traffic.
Let's talk about the subways. The F train suspended between Kings Highway and Coney Island, Stowell Avenue. It's all because of signal problems. And then a look at the Cross Bronx East, the ramp to Castle Hill Avenue. We had this overturned vehicle. Newscapter 7 is up above, and it was on that ramp, and that ramp was closed down. It looks like the ramp may have been reopened. Someone showing us the pictures, but the damage is done. We still have some really heavy delays on the Cross Bronx. Now let's take a look over here and talk to you about what's going on as you head on to the 78 express lanes going east. Exit 56, emergency pothole repairs. Go with those local lanes instead, and street cleaning rules are in effect. Shirley, over to you.
Thank you. The Cuomo administration reportedly facing a new subpoena. Find out what for. A ahead at 6:30. And next, a history-making moment on the horizon for Bitcoin. One country now moving to make it national currency.
Do I look like a seventh grader? No. Cool. Awesome.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a parent pretending to be a student. This El Paso mother is facing multiple charges after admitting to posing as her 13-year-old daughter at her middle school. According to the complaint affidavit, 30-year-old Casey Garcia checked into the school using her child's ID number and was seen in these videos posted to social media inside the building. The mom managing to greet the principal.
Hello. Good morning. Following yourself?
And even eat lunch maskless in the cafeteria among 7th graders.
I've been here all day. Face-to-face with teachers.
Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you why she says she did it and how the school district is responding. GMA First Look, I'm Andrew Dimmer, ABC News, New York.
Crikey painted. A bad mood related to a sluggish gut. Miralax is different. It works naturally with the water in your body to unlock your gut. For your gut, and your mood will follow.
Pain? Yeah, here. Aspirin cream with max strength lidocaine. Works fast, lasts. Keep it, you're gonna beat it.
Kick pain in the aspirin cream.
Home is dancing because no one's watching. Home is a reason to disturb the peace. Home is laughter. At Stanley Steamer, we love homes, and we know that a clean home is a healthy home. We're ready when you are.
I'm here. And suddenly my migraine takes me somewhere else, where there's pain and nausea. But Excedrin pulls me back in a way others don't, and it relieves my symptoms fast for real migraine relief.
Good morning.
Is woven into the fabric of America. We have to end inequality in our schools and in housing and ensure we won't have crime, gun violence, destroying our city. This is our moment. Paid for by Eric Adams, 2021.
The moment up from gunfire, and who else was hit? Plus, a bus crashes into a brownstone in Brooklyn. This morning, it's still there. There's a lot of pictures from the scene that the MTA has ruled out, though, as the cause. And then more hazy, hot, humid weather continues today. When can we expect a break? Oh, when can we expect a break? 5 a.m. Good morning, everybody. Tuesday, June 8th. I'm Michael Borgio. Darlene Rodriguez has the morning off. Ron Scala is here, tracking our roads and rails. And now we will interrogate some of the we don't know what's about what we can expect.
Well, I was going to say, we haven't even officially started summer.
Maria, Maria.
That's the negative. But if you just go by the calendar, it's a long haul. But the next couple of days on this week's calendar, yes, we'll get that break. But boy, the cloudiness that's out there, just a little hint of that humidity, well, a lot of humidity actually. The beautiful colors for that sunrise, which officially that sun comes up over the horizon in about 24 minutes. 78 degrees in the city. Oh, the dew point at 70. That is what is making it so stifling warm right now and stuffy. We've got 77 in Newark, 68 in Islip, 70 in Bridgeport. It's humid everywhere. It is going to be uncomfortable everywhere, but we do have that heat advisory in northeast New Jersey, where at times today that heat index may be more like the mid-90s. So 84 at noontime. After that point, showers and thunderstorms will be firing up. Very similar to yesterday, so heavy rain possible with any that do get going. 81 by 5 p.m., 76. Still a chance for some showers and storms even as late as 10 o'clock, so heads up there. All right, let's let's get you out the door now. Laura, what's going on? Not too much is construction that's going to get in your way at this hour. Heading over to 287 northbound, you have 2 lanes blocked from exits 55 to 57 with some emergency repairs there. And then heading over to Tunnelly Avenue, you have road work in both directions between County Road and Secaucus Road. All lanes subject to intermittent closures right now. Things seem to be moving along nicely though, but you can anticipate some delays throughout the morning commute. Michael, back to you.
Lauren, thank you very much. Happening now, an ongoing investigation in Brooklyn after a retired NYPD officer was shot on the sidewalk. KNR's Tracy Cheyenne joins us now from Kensington with what led up, Tracy, to this deadly confrontation.
Well, there were 3 players, Michael, involved in this right on Church Avenue where we are. That retired transit cop, a retired corrections officer who was his friend, and also a 33-year-old man who was known in this neighborhood, but apparently for the wrong reasons. I'll show you some video now because that cell phone video shows the immediate aftermath of that struggle here just before 7 o'clock last night. Now, the retired corrections officer and retired cop were called here to corner pizza by an employee inside who was worried about a man who they say was drunk and reportedly acting disorderly. Now, when the 2 retirees arrived, that man was inside arguing with an 86-year-old man. A struggle broke out between the suspect and the 2 retirees. That former corrections officer then pulled out a gun and opened fire.
During the course of the struggle, which moved down the block, the 52-year-old male pulled out his firearm, and 1 round, we believe, was discharged, striking both victims.
Well, that retired transit cop was shot in the chest when the gun went off in that struggle. Detectives say he was rushed to Maimonides Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Now, the 33-year-old man at the center of the struggle was also shot. He's said to be in stable condition from a gunshot wound to the arm. Now, the identities of the men involved in this have not yet been released, but a lot of residents around here say those retirees were very well known in this neighborhood. Charges against that 33-year-old are now pending. Live in the Kensington section of Brooklyn, Tracy Strahan, Today New York. Michael, will send it back to you.
Tracy, thank you very much. I knew this morning, Bruce, a baby girl allegedly taken by her father has been found safe. An Amber Alert was issued for 9-year-old in the Angel Games. It's been canceled. The NYPD tweeted that she's safe and that she's being evaluated at the hospital. Police believe her biological father, 22-year-old Antonio Armstrong, took her without permission.
It's always the father taking the baby.
Investigators are still looking for him. And police are now gathering evidence as they search for the gunman who shot 2 New Jersey high school students, killing one of them. Who say 18-year-old Muslim Fofana and 2 others were walking through the Underhill Field Sports Complex Sunday night when they got into a dispute with the suspect. Fofana was shot and killed. Another teen hit in the leg and survived. And this all happened just blocks away from Columbia High School, where both teams were students. Friends say Fofana had an outgoing personality.
He was a very funny person. He was always making jokes and always, just making whatever room he was in just light up.
Underhill was sealed off yesterday as investigators searched the bleachers, the field, and the track for evidence. Activities previously scheduled for there, as well as outdoor activities at the neighboring Clinton Elementary School, have all been canceled during this investigation. And we've got new information now on that C Street ferry crash in Brooklyn. The Coast Guard now calling it a major marine casualty. That means they're going to lead the investigation into the cause, along with the NTSB. On Saturday, the ferry from New Jersey to Midtown Manhattan got caught up in Bushwick Inlet, ended up running aground in Greenpoint. 125 passengers and crew had to be rescued. Also happening now, there's a bus still stuck in a Brooklyn brownstone 15 hours after it crashed, and more than a dozen people were hurt. So let's go to Today New York's Gabi Acevedo. Gabi's in Prospect and Lefferts Squadrons at the scene. And Gabi, one of the things they're concerned about is they don't know what will happen if they pull this bus out.
I mean, you can see that the bus, as you mentioned, Michael, is still embedded into the building, and that is correct. The Department of Buildings says that there is severe structural damage to the facade and even to the basement level. This incredible collision happened yesterday just before 2 in the afternoon. Now, Michael, according to the MTA, the bus was traveling south on Bedford Avenue when it crashed into the brownstone. At least 13 passengers were rushed to the hospital. All are expected to be okay, though no serious injuries. The MTA also says the driver of this bus was a 55-year-old man with 13 years on the job. At this point of the investigation, it appears that there was no mechanical failure, Michael, with the bus itself, and that it was not traveling at a high rate of speed. Tenants inside the brownstone heard the crash and looked out their windows to see the impressive aftermath they're building at the edge of collapse.
I was in my room. I just heard screeching sounds, like the sound of cars crashing and screeching.
The investigation of this crash is ongoing, but the Department of Buildings already deemed the structure not safe to occupy, and a full vacate order has been issued for the entire building. Michael, the expectation is that at some point today, the bus will be dislodged from the brownstone, but for that, structural engineers will have to be called to the scene. Reporting live from Prospect Leffert Gardens in Brooklyn, Gary Acevedo today in New York.
What, did he get much sleep last night or something? Oh!
Recovering New Yorkers have a new incentive to get vaccinated.
Come on, you're putting on a show over here.
Most COVID restrictions if enough people do it. Governor Cuomo says once that vaccination rate hits 70%, many restrictions will go away. Capacity restrictions, social distancing, cleaning, disinfecting, health screening, and contact information for potential screening, that would all end.
There will be some institutional guidelines.
This is not a mask.
Schools,
This is a chin strap.
Hospitals, nursing homes. But we at 70%, we will be back to life as normal.
Right, here's where we stand right now. The state's vaccination rate 68.6%. We can get to that 70% milestone perhaps within 8 days. Meantime, the governor also cleared up the mask confusion at schools. So here it is. Students must still wear them in the classroom. However, starting today, they are allowed to take them off while they're outside and during recess. In New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy says schools and summer camps, they can relax the masking requirement for kids because of extreme heat. The governor also announced that tomorrow, the Department of Health will release their own updated summer camp guidance. So happened in New Jersey, polls open less than an hour from now for New Jersey's primary, the race for governor, leading the ballot. Incumbent Democrat Phil Murphy, he's running unopposed on the Democratic side. 4 Republicans competing to take him on in November. Down ballot, all 120 seats in the State House, dozens of town and county races that are all taking places, and opening, as we said, in just about 51 minutes, and you're going to have 14 hours to cast your ballot in New Jersey. The polls will open at 6 a.m. and they'll stay open till 8 p.m. 5:09 right now. We do want to check those stories before we release something.
Maria, Maria.
The 60s are really outnumbered by the 70s.
I know. We have 60s and 70s dew points too. It's just still really humid. 78 degrees. You can see with the radar and satellite. Nothing on the radar. The satellite showing some cloudiness. We're headed back up into the upper 80s, near 90 degrees. It'll certainly feel like the low 90s in most places except Long Island and right along the Jersey Shore. But we're also seeing sort of this low-level haze. Just keep in mind we do have a dense fog advisory for offshore locations here for Long Island through this morning if you are taking the boat out. But by the afternoon, showers and thunderstorms in the forecast too, bubbling up, and it's not the last day this week. Actually, through the end of the week, I'll time it out for you coming up in that 10-day forecast.
Maria, thank you so much. Still to come.
Oh, he's yawning.
Recreational use of marijuana, the big move that happened overnight. First, though, the Biden administration's foreign policy in the spotlight. Vice President Harris wrapping up her first international trip.
If you're getting on the subways right now, southbound EM and R trains are running express from Forest Hill 71st Avenue to Roosevelt Avenue. You also still have delays out there on northbound N and Q trains. Outside of this, the roads look good. If you're getting on the roads, there are delays getting into New Jersey 495. So heading to the Lincoln Tunnel there from the Turnpike and Route 3, several lanes are blocked. So expect some delays, and we'll take a live look outside at the Verrazano Bridge, where you still have some construction out there, but things are moving along pretty nicely in both directions. You are watching Today in New York.
Destroying our
Shut up, Eric.
Gas station approaching. Can we make it on one tank?
Dad? Guys, I built the pickup truck with Chemical Ultimate. We'll go up to 25 miles further per tank in highway driving than with regular fuel.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
Up to 25 miles further per tank with the Chemical Ultimate. Available at BP and Amber stations. And you can get 5 cents off every gallon. BP Me Rewards.
You're right. You should know what to expect when you get a COVID-19 vaccine. This is why. You might need 2 doses. Depending on the vaccine you're given, you may have to get a second dose 3 to 4 weeks after the first. You may have side effects. Some people are having short-term side effects like arm soreness, headaches, body aches, chills, or fever. These are expected and means your body is building protection against COVID-19. You will build immunity. It takes about 2 weeks after your last dose to get the full protection from the vaccine. You will still need to be safe. Until enough people are vaccinated, keep yourself and others safe by wearing a face covering, washing your hands, physically distancing, and staying home if you're sick. So yes, you're right. You should know what to expect when you get a COVID-19 vaccine. So knowing you may need 2 doses, side effects are possible, you'll build immunity, plus you'll still need to be safe, means no surprises when you get your COVID-19 vaccine. To learn more, visit nyc.gov/COVID vaccine.
2020, it was certainly challenging, but now there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Ah!
And that light is certainly bright. Enjoy our world-renowned water parks, classic resorts, breathtaking views, fabulous food. 2021 has arrived. We are back better than ever. Let's enjoy it. Find your enjoyment waiting at PoconoMountains.com.
Today's weather is brought to you by Pocono Mountains.
Well, we're sounding right now at the George and Washington Bridge. You can see how hazy it is right now. It's already 79 degrees. Happening today, Connecticut's Maritime Aquarium unveiling its largest exhibit ever. Check out Pinniped Cove, this new harbor seal habitat. Visitors will be able to watch from above and below. The seals are going to dive and spin in their spacious new 22-foot deep exhibit. The new home's 8 times bigger than their previous one, and they also have a new 4D theater opening today, just in time for World Oceans Day. No wonder the seals happy. Look how nice their place
I
is.
mean, right?
Pretty
Gorgeous,
nice.
gorgeous. I mean, if they can't be out in the ocean.
The new seal aquarium in Connecticut. You know what I'd rather see? Navy seals.
Prices are up now. It's high demand. I love it, love it. All right, let's take you, keep you with that ocean view or ocean vibe. Let's take you to Point Pleasant Beach. A little purpley out there as we wait for that sun to come up over the horizon. There's some low cloudiness offshore, so we may not get that first peak right away. Toms River right now at 76 degrees. The dew point's way up just like everywhere else, and it is going to be a hot and humid day. Definitely warm still along the coast. We have from Seabright to Point Pleasant, 84 degrees, but you don't have to go too far inland to get close to 90 degrees from Millstone and Jackson, Sayreville as well. 88 for the city this afternoon. Obviously, during the peak heating of the day, feeling more like the low to even mid-90s this afternoon. 82 in Bridgeport, Islip and Eastport, Montauk as well, staying in the 70s. So that heat relief is still the place to be, eastern end of Long Island. All right, but this is what we're waiting for to cool off, finally cut that heat short. It's a boundary, a cold front, again, kind of coming from the unusual direction, or not the norm, from northwest to southeast. This one coming more from the northeast, but it is enough to knock us back down into the low 80s, keep us in the 70s for Islip, but even more so as we get into Friday, highs only near 70 degrees, and you can see plenty of 60s, even a few 50s in northern New England. But we do have still that heat and humidity to get through first, and a couple days of showers and thunderstorms. So let's start with today, and actually this afternoon, very much like yesterday, showers and thunderstorms bubbling up. Plenty of humidity to work with, so heavy rain possible with any of those. And then things quiet down overnight, but it's all over again tomorrow with more showers and thunderstorms. And remember, it's going to be hot. Maybe you want to head to the lake or the pool. If you're close enough to hear the thunder, you're close enough to be struck, so head inside as soon as you hear that rumble. Showers can't be ruled out, though, Thursday and Friday, but finally it looks good for the weekend. We'll call it pleasant, mid-70s for highs, and then we're back closer to 80 as we get into next week. All right, 5:16, that's your weather. Let's get you traffic. Hey, Marie, good morning. Not much traffic out there for you right now. Westbound on the Bruckner, heading into the Sheridan Expressway, it's a bit slow going because of the traffic pattern out there. And you have some unplanned and some emergency construction on 287 northbound from exits 55 to 57. 2 lanes are blocked. Right now, it's not causing an issue. I'll let you know if that changes. And we'll take a live look outside of the Gowanus Expressway, where things are moving along a little slowly out there inbound between the Prospect Expressway and Hamilton Avenue. And then in better news, we'll take a look at the Holland Tunnel, where you're in for a nice ride. Roadwork wrapped up early. That inbound is open. The Lincoln Tunnel and George Washington Bridge are also in good shape. Alternate side of the street parking rules and meter rules, they're both in effect today. Michael, back to you.
Okay, well, thanks very much. President Biden getting ready to take his first overseas trip tomorrow, hoping to make good on a promise to foster alliances and stand up to adversaries. Vice President Harris is wrapping up her first foreign trip today. Mrs. Tracy Box live in Washington with details on the plans to deepen some diplomatic ties. The two leaders both had sort of different missions, though. The Vice President focusing on immigration, President Biden focusing on that meeting with Putin, also on the NATO allies.
Exactly, and cybersecurity turns out is going to be a big issue with some of those allies at the G7, Michael. So her trip is ending, his trip is beginning. He's going to be packed with meetings with world leaders trying to establish and reestablish relationships with America's allies, and in at least one case with Russia, draw the line and create what that relationship should look like.
President Biden embarks on 8 days of diplomacy, joining allies at the G7
Hey,
summit.
where do you think you're going?
Ransomware attacks, the COVID pandemic, and global cooperation.
Working with our allies and partners, renewing our role in international institutions, and reclaiming our credibility and moral authority, much of which has been lost.
He scheduled one-on-one meetings with the
He doesn't want to listen to Biden, that's why.
President and the NATO briefing
Whoa.
meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
One of the things that President Biden will make clear to President Putin when he sees him is that states cannot be in the business of harboring those who are engaged in these kinds of attacks.
His trip comes as Vice President Kamala Harris wraps her Central American tour in Mexico today with a stern message to migrants approaching the U.S.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. If you come to our border, you will be turned back.
She's seeking cooperation from Mexico and Guatemala to curb corruption and improve the quality of life south of the border.
And that is what the Biden administration thinks will help deal with the situation, the crisis on immigration at the border in April. Border apprehensions, people trying to cross into the United States, were at a 20-year high. Michael?
All right, key issue there. Tracy, thank you so much. Happening today, the suspects in a heartbreaking, deadly road rage shooting in California, they're expected to appear in court. They are 24-year-old Marcus Reyes, 23-year-old Win Lee. They were arrested Sunday at their home in Costa Mesa, south of Los Angeles. The two could face murder charges in the shooting death of 6-year-old Aiden Rios. The first grader was killed last month while his mom drove him to school. A single bullet struck him in his booster seat after a road rage incident led to gunfire. Investigators say Lee was behind the wheel of a white Volkswagen that sped away, and that Reyes was the shooter.
There are few words to describe the feeling produced by the despicable actions of that day.
And news of that arrest came hours after Aiden's devastated family laid him to rest. Each suspect being held right now in bail of $1 million. This morning, Connecticut poised to follow the lead of New York and New Jersey, legalizing marijuana for recreational use. Overnight, the state's Democratic-led Senate passed the measure. It now moves to a vote in the Assembly just before the regular legislative session adjourns tomorrow. So the bill would make marijuana possession legal for those 21 There's old and older that would start on July 1st. The actual sales, though, would not begin until next year. And news for your health. The FDA is approving a new drug to treat Alzheimer's disease, but they're doing it over the advice of their panel of experts. They're concerned the drug Aduhelm from Biogen doesn't really work. But the FDA says the drug has shown improvement in patients. It's the first drug approved for Alzheimer's in some 20 years. It's supposed to act in the brain to reverse the cause of the disease.
He's acting like he's not seeing it.
Just treat symptoms of it.
I'm not cured in any way, shape, or form, but
Oh, don't knock over your bed now.
more mental capacity than I did 4 years ago.
This morning on the Today Show, you're going to hear from the patient who takes the drug Aduhelm. The FDA says studies still have to be conducted to show that it does work. If it doesn't, they say they'll withdraw their approval. Also coming up on the Today Show, ABC's Stephanie Goss. Stephanie's going to take a closer look into the disease, which has no cure. That's all.
Excuse me, you're blocking the television.
CBC Money Report, Amazon side.
You're blocking the television.
Out today. What you need to know about this internet sharing service, and then later we're going to tell you what we know about a big concert coming to Central Park, assembled by none other than the legendary music producer Clive Davis. You're watching Today in New York.
All right, I'm gonna do laundry, folks. See you guys later. I'll probably be going out, so see you in the Dora. See you guys in the car.